It's pumpkin season, lattes, orange leaves falling from the trees, which makes me feel like it is time for some fall DIYs. So if you're into it, stay tuned. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and the notification bell so that way you're notified next time I upload another creative video that might help you keep it artsy too. So let's get into it. So for our first project, our fall wreath, we're going to need a wreath, some flowers. I picked orange, whites, and of course I picked some fall leaves. We're going to go ahead and cut all of those into little bitty pieces. So then that way we will be able to hot glue them nice and neat onto the wreath itself. So we're going to layer the leaves and the flowers, starting with the fall leaves. Next up, I'm going to sporadically hot glue the longer white flowers. And it's okay if you can see the stem because we'll be covering those up later with the other flowers. And speaking of other flowers, we are now going in with all of the orange flowers. And we're going to really put as many orange flowers there to just fill up that whole side of the wreath. The last flowers I'll be adding to this wreath are going to be those really puffy white ones, and I'm just adding 2. I thought 2 was just enough. I tried adding more, but it just looked like too much, and then I actually ended up finding these little scented pine cones, and I thought they just added a nice little touch of fall to the wreath. After that, we're going to make our white bow. In order to make the bow, I'm just going to continuously fold. I think I folded maybe about 8 times. Once I folded that 8 times, I went ahead and cut some twine, folded the middle, and cut in between. I left just enough so I'll be able to twist the bow to fluff it out. So as you can see here, there's still a little bit. Then go ahead and tie it, and after that we're going to twist and fluff, twist and fluff. And I actually didn't use this exact bow for the wreath. I actually ended up making a smaller one because this one was way too big, but you get the idea. I just did the exact same thing, and yeah, now we are gluing the bow onto the wreath, and just make sure that you really secure it. Ended up going up and fluffing it again just to make sure that it just looked really just fluffy, like a fluffy bow. And added some more hot glue to really secure that bow on there. I do not want that thing falling off. So yeah, that's what we did. And finally, I'm just adding 2 more pieces of ribbon to the bow. That way it just completes it. And I went ahead and hot glued that to the back of the bow. And as you can see in a little bit, you'll just see that it is exactly what this wreath needed. It completed everything, put everything together, and you'll see the final results here in a little bit. And here's the final results. Next up, we are doing pumpkins 3 different ways. For the first pumpkin, we are going to need these small bouncy balls, some yarn, and that's it. We're going to start off by gluing the very top and go in a vertical motion, and we're just going to keep on doing this motion until we completely cover it up. Next up, I'm going to hot glue some twine, and I'm going to wrap that around vertically 3 times to give it those lines of a pumpkin. And yep, that's what we're doing there. To make the pumpkin stem, I simply just got some twigs from outside, and then I went ahead and wrapped that with twine. Some of the pumpkins that I made, I wrapped with twine. Others I wrapped with green yarn. And here's the final results to these yarn pumpkins. Perfect addition to a centerpiece on a table. For our second pumpkins, we are using a bigger baseballs that I also got from the Dollar Tree, and this craft wire and yarn. I'm going to wrap this ball quite sporadically with the yarn. As you can see, I'm not going in a specific way. I'm just wrapping it all around in different directions until it is all covered up. Now for the stem of this pumpkin, I'll be using that craft wire, and I'll go ahead and glue it. After that, I'm going to do the same thing I did with the first pumpkin with the twine, wrap it around 3 times to get the lines of the pumpkin, and after that, I'll go ahead and wrap the craft wire with the green yarn until I get the length I want. Lastly, twist your stem to your liking. And here's the final results to our second pumpkin. Alright, for our last pumpkin, all we're going to need is some stuffing and whatever cloth you like. Go ahead and cut that cloth into a square enough to cover up your pumpkin like this. Then get a piece of twine and tie it tightly together. Now we're going to create the ridges of the pumpkin, and how we're going to do that is we're going to get a piece of twine, twist it evenly on the top. Once you have that twist on the top, go ahead and tie it tightly on the bottom. Then snip snip. And we're going to repeat that process 3 more times. I went ahead and shortened the tip, and once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap the entire tip of it with twine. Once I finished wrapping, I just gave it a little bit of a bent to resemble more of a stem, and then here's our final results. I'm not sure which pumpkin was my favorite. Let me know in the comments which one was yours. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I appreciate you watching, and as always, make sure to keep it artsy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!